and hide this. Okay. So yeah, I'll just give us a quick recap. So I'll go back into the Power Query, transform data, and we click on transform to get back into the Power Query. And it shows a pen on the paper there, showing us that that's where you edit. You do your editing within Power Query. Okay, so that's one way to get back into Power Query. Another way is if you hover on your tables that you've loaded, any of the tables, okay? Can you see there's 3 dots that appears each time you hover? Okay, you can go into those 3 dots, click on the 3 dots, and it shows you quite a lot of options of things that you can, functions that you can perform, okay? And the one that takes you back into Power Query is this one where it says Edit Query. So you can use the transform data option, or you can just come by your table and click on the Edit Query, and you have your Power Query opened up, and it takes you back on here. Okay, now this was where we stopped yesterday. All we've done so far was to load the data, as well as looked at the data types being changed. We also looked at the different applied steps that we currently have going on, happening, okay, within our data. Now we need to look at data quality issues that we might have, okay? Now, accident index would be your ID, and we would expect all of these columns to be unique. Each time an accident occurs, there's a code that's generated to identify that particular accident report. So one accident should have one code. So this should not be repeated, basically, okay? How would we know if there are, if it's repeated? I can, click on here and right click. I'm right clicking now. Again, that's another thing. Each time you click on a column and right click, there is a whole load of function, that you can perform. You may want to make a copy, of that column, and then paste it somewhere, okay? You may want to remove the column. Okay, if I remove that column, that happens. And you see, immediately I clicked on remove column, we've got that step recorded on the change style. Now, all of a sudden, I discovered that, okay, I really didn't want to remove that column. I actually need it. Okay, there's no undo button, but I can come to that last step that I used to remove the column and just, click this red scissors here. And that restores, we remove that last step and restores my column that I deleted, okay? So there's a lot of functions here. Remove other columns. So let's say I want to keep this column and I want to remove other columns because I don't want to do it one by one, okay? If I do remove other columns, you see, I keep the one that I was on and I removed the rest. If that's what I'm trying to achieve, yes, then that's fine, but that's not what I'm trying to achieve. So it's good to go around and play around with this different, it's not going to break. Nothing's going to break. Whatever step you do, if it's no longer needed, you can always remove that step. Okay, you can duplicate the column, and it duplicates, makes a copy at the right end, right there. Okay, go back to the left. Okay, you can remove duplicates. Okay, if you follow my cursor, there's some information here about your data set at the bottom here. It says we've got 23 columns. So if you count the columns in this data set, there's 23 of them. And we've got more than 999 rows. And it's profiling this just based on the first 1,000 rows. Okay, so I'm sure we've got more than 1,000 rows, within this data. Okay. So I may decide to, if I click on remove duplicates, if I feel there's duplicates there, it would have, gone in there to remove any duplicate that could be there. Okay. There should be a keep duplicates somewhere, which you can use to check if there is any duplicates, within your data set. I'm trying to look for it, but I can't find it. Okay, so I have removed duplicates and there's no keep duplicates here. I'm trying to remember where to find that. I can't remember right now. Hopefully I will, yeah, oh no, it's not. Okay, actually it should be under here. So if I say keep duplicates, if there is, just for me to check if there are any duplicates in this data set. So I've clicked on keep duplicates, let's see. And that's just my way of finding out, checking if there are duplicates. So everything we see here is actually, all of the rows are actually duplicates. So if I load more, let's see how many duplicates we've got. That's quite a lot. And this accident index should not be duplicated. So again, that could be, because it's a project for learning like this. So it could be interesting formats here. It could be their way of checking if we would, do the work of removing any duplicates that are there. I'm just trying to see what those odd looking IDs really are. Okay, so we see a lot of 31st of December 2022 within the dates. That's quite different. That's quite strange to the rest of the IDs that we have there. So these are worth flagging with whoever gave us this data. Okay, it's good to check with them why these are appearing in this format, different from the rest. Okay, but I'll remove that. Okay, so the keep duplicates I've used to check, and we can see that actually there are duplicates, and we don't want duplicates, especially, for this column. Okay, but let's keep checking. If I say load more and we scroll down, okay. So by default within Power Query will work on the first 1,000 rows of your data. But if you have more, it would apply all of the changes you make to the rest. But what you can preview, if you don't change it from the settings, that you want the whole data set, then it's always the first 1,000 rows that you get. Okay. Another way that we can look at our data quality is if we go into a view. Okay. So if we click on column quality, okay, I'll check it again, and you see these green, red, black dots and what they stand for. Okay, we see that across the whole columns. So we can see that it says there's all the entries within this column is 100% valid. There's no error. And it's all filled up. So there's no null. Everything is filled. No empty row or space, so to say. And it looks like it says that across board for, if I scroll gently to the right, looks like all of them are valid, no error, and there's no empty space. Okay, so that gives us a bit of information. Okay, because if there were missing values, it would tell us the percentage of nulls that you have there, or anything that's flagged as error. It would show in the computation that we see on top of here. Okay, and then we have something we call column distribution. Okay, if I click on column distribution and I unclick this so that we are not seeing too many things, I'll unclick this and it says, so column distribution gives us further information about the distinct and the unique values that you have. Okay, and straight on we can see distinct values and unique values. We have treated these at some point in this class. There are two different words. They may sound like they are close, but they are not exactly the same. What are distinct values and what are unique values? Okay. Now, unique values are values that appear just once within a data set. So what this information means is that we've got 683 values that appear just once, okay? But we've got 684 values in total. If you count those that are repeated also once, okay? So part of this 683 is the 684, basically, you know. I don't want to go too much into that today because we've done a good explanation on it in the past, okay? But it's worth researching, you know, for us to understand that better. In data terms, you just search in data terms, what are distinct values and what are unique values and what's the difference between the two, okay? Then we have in the dates, accident date column, it tells us that there are 6 distinct and 0 unique. 0 unique means none appears just once. They are all duplicated, okay? So, and there's just six different dates, you know, that we have, which is strange. 6 different dates that we have within this dates. I hope I haven't filtered out anything. No, I haven't. Okay. And then year. It says we have just 1 distinct and 0 that's appearing once, meaning it's only 2022 that's here. But I believe we actually brought in, when we checked this data, we had 2021 and 2022, if I'm not mistaken. Let's load and see what we have within that. Yes, we have 2021 and 2022. Okay, but I think I get where it's coming from. Let's not forget that currently it's not giving us this information based on the entire data set. The first 1,000 rows, it only finds 2022. Okay, but the entire data set has both 2021 and 2022. Okay, now if you want your information displayed as entire data set and not just the top 100 rows, you can always go into the options, I believe. Let's see if we can change that. So Even in Power Query, you have the file and different, options that you can make some changes on how you want your Power Query to appear. Now, within the options function, you can change your setting globally or just with the current file. Global means whatever change you apply here would apply to every of your Power BI that you work on. But if the change you need to make is just for this current data, not for all of them, all of your Power BI that will be passing through your laptop, then you just make your changes within current file. Okay. I just want to look for somewhere where it tells me type detection, relationships, time intelligence, Q&A. So not that. Regional setting. This regional setting is important because sometimes you may need to change to American region if you're dealing with maybe an American data set or something, especially where dates are concerned. So, but we are using United Kingdom for obvious reasons. Privacy level, no, that's not what I need. That's not the one I need. Published, query reduction, report settings. Let's see if we can find it within report settings. So I'm looking for somewhere that tells me if I can profile my data based on the entire data set and not just the first 1,000 rows. Let me do it in the global then and see. Data preview, parameters, allow, enable. I can't seem to find what I need. Preview, not preview, it's not preview features. I don't think so. Okay, so that we don't take too much of our time, report settings. I've seen it in the Power BI online where you can, maybe it's not applicable to desktop. Maybe, I'm not too sure. Okay, again, that's something to go find out, Oh, have I closed the whole Power Query? To go find out and see, because our column distribution has two distinct values, not just one, okay? And here, what this is telling us is it can only see December. Anyway, based on the dates that we see here, I'm still not completely convinced about why I'm seeing very small. This distinct should be showing 12 exactly, okay, because we have all of the months. So the distinct I was expecting here should be about 12, not just one. So not too sure what's going on with this column profiling.
Good evening, ma. Can you scroll down on the, let's
This
see.
one.
Yes. Sometimes it kind of opens up more of those okay. Do you have an idea of the total number of rows that we have in here?
It's actually more than 1,000.
Okay.
If someone can open their I think I have it in the chat here actually. But I can't see the chart anymore, can I? Let's open the chart and actually verify that. No, I don't want to replace it. Okay, let me go here and okay, here we go. So if I 307,000 there, yeah. So we've got quite a lot. It's 307,973 rows that we have.
Can we go to the data preview, ma? If just to see if we can, that's in the Power Query.
Okay.
No, it's on the Home tab, ma.
Okay. Home tab.
Yes, ma.
Okay. Which data preview? Which one?
Trying to look. If you go to, let's see, refresh preview. Let me see if is that gonna work. No, that's not it. Is anything other manage there?
Manage parameters?
No,
Which one?
there's another manage just
This
around
one.
the properties. Yes.
Okay.
Oh
No,
no,
yeah,
that's
it's
not.
just the
Okay. I'm trying to check it out here, but let's go on. I hope I'm able to sort it. If I'm able to get that, I will come back.
thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, normally it should within options and settings be able to allow us, to say, okay, within my Power Query, I want you to apply changes to entire data. I want to see my entire data set, not just the first 1,000 rows, which is what it does by default. I'm sure if we have time to actually, go into, each of these one by one, it's hidden there somewhere, data load. Okay, but I won't let that take too much of our time. Okay, so but at least we know that we've loaded that many rows, but we can only, currently just see the first 1,000 rows. Okay. So that's how we use this column distribution and column quality to look through and check through to see what's happening within our data. Okay. How come this one's saying 1,000 distinct? Okay, yes. Each one of the longitude and latitude are appearing just once, and it would be very important, please. If not, what I'm saying now would just sound like something that's going and just passing by one's ears. What are distinct values and what are unique values? Okay. Unique value, anything unique appears once. If they are saying this is unique, it's because it's appearing just once, And within this accident index, which is supposed to be the ID, of each of these rows, it's supposed all to be unique. So I was expecting to see something like same number of unique and same number of distinct, okay? And what that tells us is that there's a lot of duplicates that need to be taken care of, which we will take care of, at some point, okay? And then we have the column profile, okay, which you will need to pick on a column, I believe, and profile it, okay? So I clicked on accident index and profiled it, and again, further insight into what is happening within our column. within each of the columns. You can do it for each of the columns. So it's saying that it's a count of 1,000, which is not surprising. Like I've said before, we are only seeing working on the first 1,000 by default within Power Query. That is not to say that the work is not getting done on the rest of the rows as well. It is getting done. It's saying there is no error, which we saw before when we use column quality. It's saying there is no empty space. It's saying that there's 684 distinct and 683 unique values. That is, there's 683 values that's appearing just once, okay, but we have duplicates, within it as well, okay. There's no empty string there's no error, there's no empty string. The minimum and the max, I don't know how it got this minimum and max. I think it's just gone on to, yeah, because look at that, that's not all numbers. Okay, it's gone on to look for numbers, in terms of counting how many digits are in each one. No, does that work? Because this is a text field. Okay, so finding minimum and maximum in a text field, I wouldn't really know how it's calculated. That the best explanation I can offer is it would go in to count each of the digits and see which has the longest and which has the shortest. Okay, and then we see something like a bar chart by the side where it displays all the values and how they are distributed. Of course, we can see, so each of these ones they seem to be appearing just once. Yes, they seem to be appearing just once, each of these ones. But the top value, 20, all of this long one, okay, it's really, really well, it's appearing 317 times, within this data. That's not right. And that's us flagging, okay? That's us flagging that, okay? So maybe I would, normally I would look for this value and see. I think this is it here, actually. Yes, this is it. So if I just click on that.
Sorry to bump in again, ma.
Yeah, go on.
If we click on the column profiling based on top 1,000 rows, just down
This
on
one?
the yes.
Okay. Oh,
yes.
There we go. This is what we've been looking for. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. That's the first time I'm seeing that.
Yeah.
Within here. So it's good to learn something new. And that's why it's good for us to be researching, you see. Now we all know that to get what we need, we should, go in there. Now, if we go back to that column distribution and see if we get something better. Okay, now it's safe to say we are seeing the entire data, even if we can't scroll down to all of it. But it's profiling this now based on the entire data. And we should see better distributory result. Okay, and there's quite a lot of rows. I think that's why it's taking so long, And again, that is why by default, they decided to base this just on the first 1,000 rows, because see, we are just using 300 and something thousand rows, and it's taking this long to perform this function. You can imagine if you've got many millions of rows, how long that would take. But let's see if it won't drag us too much. If not, then I would implore us to go do this part, at home, so that we can carry on. Okay, I'm going to stop that. Let's see if the column profile will work. If that won't be, you see now that our count is now better. it's gone on to count that there's 307,972, 972 rows, each one of these counts. That's a correct count. The number that's distinct, the number that's unique, 197,618 appeared once. But in total, the values that we have there, not in total like that. What I mean is the total number of values that appeared, whether they appear once or more than once, is 197,644. And yeah, we still have the minimum and maximum. That's 2.0 something, and this is 200 and okay. However that happened, I wouldn't know, because there's alphabets as well within that. Anyway, looking at the value distribution this time around, all those values that were flagged that we saw before as duplicates, when we kept duplicates, we see them now. You see? And again, it is still this 201, however million or billion, that's taking up most of the space, and that cannot be right for a column that's supposed to all be unique. Okay, so that definitely needs looking into. Normally, I would just want to see if I can do a keep duplicate for the entire row. Now, if I clicked on just one column and then go on here to apply my keep duplicates, it will just keep the duplicates that's just within this column. But if I want to look at it from a row level, that is, if we look at every column in the entire row and there's duplicates, that's where there's problem more than anything. Okay, so that's what I really want to do now. So I come into the corner here and look for keep duplicates. Hopefully okay, there it is. Okay, so there's different parts, different, areas or different ways to perform the same function within Power BI, and that's a beauty of it. Again, because we are working on the entire data set, we have to, it says the table is empty. So there is no entire row that is. So all of the rows are unique. It's just that accident index that's got duplicates. That's good to know. Okay, what that then tells me is that we can't just remove duplicates from here anyhow. Okay, because if we remove duplicates from here, we are going to be losing data, which shouldn't happen. Okay, when we are faced with something like this column is supposed to record accidents uniquely. That has not happened. There has been duplicates. Then I need to go back to the source. Because there could be a logical reason, why do we have duplicates within a unique field, so to say. Okay, so we'll need to go to the root of the data. My take before was to just click on here and remove duplicates, but we are not going to do that, because then we'll be removing a lot of rows that are not actually duplicated. Sometimes it's also good to go to the source data in Excel and look carefully. Most of the time, if you can deal with your data quality from the source before bringing it into your tool, be it Power BI or anything else, that's usually your best, your best practice. Let's do a keep duplicate on here again, and see if we can figure out what this is about. Okay, so I see a lot of this same, if we look at the first 28 rows that we can see, this same number, same accident date, of course, same year, same month, it would be definitely be the same week. Do we have people that are coming into the class now? Are people needing this class now? Okay. Then we get to junction control, and that's where these are not duplicates, so to say. These are not all the same. I was expecting this to be not at junction or within 20 meters. If that's all what we have, you know, from the first row up to down there as well, and same for here, you know, that would have helped to conclude that actually these rows are duplicated. We see why we can't say that because the index, we can't say that because the index is the same, it doesn't necessarily translate that the whole of the rows are the same. Okay, so there's need to know why same accident index that happened same day, you know, is then being given different junction control and junction detail where they happen. Let's see if they happen at different, I see, okay. And again, they happen at different local authorities, okay. So why is this same number being generated, you know, for different accidents, basically? Okay, that's an issue that could make our report biased. Okay, just based on this accident index column. Okay, I suspect that for the requirements that we've been given, we won't necessarily need to focus too much, you know, to focus too much on the problem, but it's necessary for it to be flagged, you know, so that the right thing is done. I can't be reporting, we can't be having different accidents reported because they are reported on the same day, but they are reported from different locations, different local authorities. It shouldn't be generating the same code. And if it is, what's the logic behind it? Okay, so that it doesn't square, you know, the report that we then produce. So let's note that. The requirements we've been given is it just says for us to, you know, count the casualties. It's focusing more around casualties, not necessarily the total number of accidents. But the total number of accidents is also a good KPI, you know, to use. But that becomes, we won't be having too much confidence in the total number of accidents if we decide to count by this accident index. You know how we are very big on IDs, you know, in data. IDs, index, however they are named, are unique identifiers. They are very cogent, very important to the way that the report is built, okay? And I believe that's why my brain keeps hammering, you know, on this particular column. But apart from that column, I don't believe we have any other data quality issue that needs to be flagged. From here, we got our data type right. And I think we can load and we can load and start working on close and load, and we can start working on, you know, creating the reports, the request that we have been given. Okay, do we have more time, or should we postpone the rest to tomorrow?
Please let us postpone it till tomorrow.
Okay. So in that case, with these few points of mine, so we haven't really done too much today, you know. It's just a bit more explanation on functions within Power Query that we have, you know.
Charger.
Mute, please. Okay. So from tomorrow, we'll start looking at the KPIs, how are we calculating, what are we doing, what visuals are we using. I believe we are going to be very quick with this particular report, all things being equal. On this note, I want to say thank you for your time and patience. Let's have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you, Ishodi.
You are welcome. I'm going to ask us how to change your Power Query setting from showing just the first 1,000 rows to the entire data set tomorrow. So let's all remember. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Adeleke.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Good night. Stop here and stop recording.